Good morning. My name is Pietro Romeo. I am a clinical manager of PERISO SA, a company in Switzerland, and the producer of this new kind of machine about the application of shock waves in musculoskeletal disorders. I am an orthopedic specialist, and my interest in the field of the shock waves began up to 20 years ago, and now I'm working in the hospital, Istituto Ortopedico Galeazzi in Milano, and I am very interested in clinical practice about the treatments of musculoskeletal disorders with shock waves, but also in basic research. I experience the effect of shock waves in bone and in tendon disorders for the main part of my work. Now I'm pleased to introduce you this kind of machine that is different from the other types of shock waves device. As you know, we have electromagnetic devices, piezoelectric devices, and electromagnetic devices. The machine CTU shock wave is an electromagnetic device, so the functioning of the machine is based on a coil that is inside the probe, the handpiece that you use normally to treat the people. The electromagnetic coil delivers a high intensity up to 2 Tesla of electromagnetic source, and this is very important because is the amount of the magnetic energy, of the magnetic flow that needs to produce the effect, the mechanical effect that on its own generates the shock waves. From the principles of the physics that if we have a diamagnetic materials, and diamagnetic materials are materials that are repulsive to the magnetic flow. In this way, when I have a pulsing high intensity electromagnetic fields and this flow of the magnetic fields meet in a diamagnetic materials, we have a movement of the lens. Movement of the lens is up and down, and what it means that all the pressure, the natural pressure, the atmospheric pressures nearby the lens undergo to a variation, and so we can generate in the air a shock waves, as we can say a shock waves delivered by a mechanical effect. In this way we can generate a normal shock waves as the other shock waves of the different kind of devices, but is a different impact of the lens on the surface of the skin that generate the shock waves inside the body. The shock waves is a focus shock waves because the different shape and morphology of the rings of the lens that ensures the possibility to treat at different depth the energy of the magnetic fields. Very interesting is also the possibility to work at zero focus, and so we have a volume of mechanical energy that as a cylinder flow inside the bot, and we can use, and you will see in my practice aspect of this presentation, the possibility to work in a good way on muscles. Then the functioning of the machine include the possibility to vary the main parameters of the shock waves. So I prepare the machine to the treatment, and as you can see in the screen, I can change the lifetime of the shock waves. I can work with a low rise time or with a medium rise time and high rise time. This means that I can treat easily with high rise time bone or fibrotic tissues, as well I can treat with low rise time soft tissue or use the machine easily in the inflammatory concerns of the musculoskeletal disorders. On the other side, we can vary the amplitude of the design of the shock waves, that is a normal shock waves. You have to remember this because it's a mechanical shock waves, but it's not a conventional radio shock waves, because from our laboratories we measure it, a classical design of a real shock waves as intended from the scientific community. Then I can use the possibility to work in a soft way to stimulate the tissues. This is very important because, as you know, with soft energy, with a lower level of energy, we can work to regenerate the tissue. It's not the high energy of the narrow design of the shock waves that gives a regenerating effect of the shock waves. Rather, this is due to the amplitude of the shock waves. Then I can work to stimulate or in drainaging effect of the shock waves. This means that I have an intermediate shape of the shock waves between the narrow shock waves with the larger shock waves of the stimulating effect. And you can work in an intermediate way. Then if we need to work in a pure shock waves, I can work in a disgregating effect. This means that I have a narrow shock waves that is more effective to treat selected little point inside the body, as for example the focusing in the rim of the fractures or in calcific tendinopathy of the shoulders or in nerve spurs as examples. Then another characteristic is different from other machines and the number of the shots. We can deliver, respect to other devices, a little number of shots, because we have the possibility to work with the power of the shock waves, is the conventional energy flux density, and to work also with diamagnetic effects. What it means? It means that between two shots of the pulsed magnetic fields, I have a mechanical effect due to the movement of the lens, and then between two movements of the lens, we have the so-called vestigia of the magnetic fields, is the residual flow of the magnetic fields that, as you know, can exert a biological effect, an adjunctive biological effect. So I can modulate the diamagnetic effect, moving the flow, varying the flow of the magnetic fields. But all these things you can appreciate with the application of the shock waves delivered by the machine in the patient.